What is up, guys? Alex here from TechnoClass.com, and this is the Motorola Moto X 2nd Gen or 2014. And man, I love this phone. This is my favorite phone so far. This 2015 might be the entire year. We have to find out if Motorola is going to bring in the next Moto X. But this is the 2014 edition, priced at $16,999. The thing I love about this phone is it's using stock Android with no bloatware. How is it that this is the first time I've used a flagship device that is stock Android, and it blows my mind how fast it is? Alex from TechnoClass.com. This is the Motorola Moto X 2014 2nd Gen review. We'll see you guys in just a bit. Alright, so if you haven't watched the unboxing, and you should, we're going to run you through a little bit of what comes in the box. Here's the pin poker thing to remove the nano SIM tray. Motorola Moto X paperwork right there. Here is a really nice 2 USB port charger, and you have a USB cable and a nice semi-premium headphones. That's it for the box. The box itself is pretty premium, but that's not what we're here for. We're here for the review of the phone. Alright, here is the phone itself. This is the Motorola Moto X 2nd Gen, a nice 2.5D Gorilla Glass 3, if I remember correctly. 5.2-inch AMOLED 1080p display, gorgeous 1080p. Colors really pop, the display really pops, and of course the Gorilla Glass 3 helps in that regard because it is a beautiful cover on that thing. It doesn't mute the colors at all. And this is the body of the phone. The phone is made of metal on the sides, as you can see right there. It tapers off to the corners or the sides, gives you a nice grip. Here in front, on the top, we have a speaker grill, nice looking textured speaker grill. Actually, it's lifted a little bit off the display to prevent the display from ever touching their table. Over here, we have a 2-megapixel camera. And on the bottom, we have another speaker grill. This is the loudspeaker that is for making calls. It's not, unfortunately, a stereo speaker setup, but this speaker is actually quite loud. Alright, so at the 4 corners of the display here are infrared lights, which you will not see in this camera. And that is used for detecting motion or space in front of the display, leaving you capable of that kind of waving motion. And actually, it helps when you put it in your pocket, because it knows when it's in your pocket with the infrared lights, and it will never unlock. You will not get any pocket calls or pocket unlocks with this phone because of the infrared lights. That's a genius feature. Alright, so on the sides we get to see that metal build of the Moto X, which feels really good, and it actually tapers to the sides here, giving you that better grip. On the bottom, we have the micro USB port for charging and data transfer. On the right side, we have a volume rocker. Let's get that in focus. Volume rocker, and actually a different textured power button, so you know exactly, based on how your fingers feel, which one is the power button, which one is the volume rocker. On top, we have a 3.5mm headphone jack and your SIM tray, nano SIM tray. This is a single SIM, nano SIM, no micro SD card. On the back, we have the black textured, I don't know what it is, plastic or whatever, polycarbonate, but it feels really good. It's not, you know, sticky or sandpapery. It's just a nice soft touch plastic. There is a circle here with the Motorola logo. That's not a button. And this is the 13-megapixel camera, which is actually quite an awesome camera, with 2 LED lights on a circular platform, giving you some form of ring light for balancing out the shadows of your shots. Alright, so that's it for the design, and man, do I think this is an awesome design. This is actually flagship level quality design here. You know, the metal build gives you almost the Galaxy S6 kind of feel to it. And all of the premium materials here, 1080p display, 2.5D Gorilla Glass, making it look really nice. And of course, the handling and features is really good. It's very solid, nice feel. You know, the camera even looks pretty cool in there, in that back with the circular LED flash right there. Everything is in place to look classic, but very, very nice. All right, so now we move on to what is arguably the best part of this phone and why I love this phone. This is the best phone, my favorite phone of 2015, I've told you already. But that's because it's using stock Android. Of course, this is a Motorola UI version. It's not necessarily fully stock Android. It does have some Moto customizations, but it's stock enough that there is no lag. There is literally, seriously, this is 60 frames per second. I know this video is only 30 frames per second, but the phone itself runs 60 everywhere. All of the scrolling is 60. Task switching is 60. Everything is 60 frames per second. The loading of apps doesn't take long. It actually just pops the app really quickly. That is amazing. Stock Android is amazing. I don't know why other brands do not just use stock Android, because it's beautiful, it's fast, it's fluid, and this is what I want. Another super awesome thing about Motorola, there's no bloatware. Look at that. There's no, there's no 20 Asus apps, 30 shady Chinese apps from whatever brand. It's amazing because it doesn't take up space, it doesn't use up your memory, your RAM, and it just keeps that phone really as smooth as possible. Why would you even put bloatware? I don't need 20 frickin' sorry, that is just, I just hate bloatware. This is really, really awesome though. Alright, so this being a Motorola product, and Motorola used to be owned by Google themselves, this is guaranteed updates really, really quickly, near instantly after Google comes out with that update. So as you can see right here, we are running Lollipop, but not just any Lollipop version. We're running Android 5.1. I got this out of the box with running Android 5.0, and I got it to up to 5.1. So yeah, you get updates. You will get updates. All right, so let's talk about the Motorola customizations for a minute. Now, this is not stock, completely stock Android. Motorola has added some customizations in this, but those are actually quite welcome. Now, you will notice that it does have this ambient display, and I love that ambient display. Like I said before, it does have that 4 infrared sensors giving you a nice hand gesture capability of opening the display, letting you unlock the phone without, pressing a button. That's actually kind of tedious enough for me that I don't want to press buttons anymore. I just want to flip it over, swap like this, and now you have your phone unlocked. Alright, so 2 other nice features that I really actually quite use is the gesture for camera and flashlight. So if you do a chopping motion here, it will turn on the flashlight, which is great because you don't have to, unlock your phone, press, swipe around, find the flashlight button. Also, the other shortcut that I want to talk about is the double twisting motion to start the camera, giving you a quick, very, very nice way to start your camera. And now I used this earlier to take this picture of this cat on top of this pole, whatever. And normally you just fish out your phone, you just press your unlock button and unlock it, and then press your camera, and there you go. That's the moment has been lost. I just popped my phone out of my pocket, I twisted it like this, and then I pressed the button, bam, takes a picture. Alright, so one of the biggest features, and probably one of the most awesome features of the Moto X, is I believe what they call the Moto Voice. And if you watch my unboxing, I did show you quite a bit of the Moto Voice feature. But essentially it's a voice-free, I mean a hands-free voice command software running 100% of the time on the phone, even if it's on standby. Now, yes, that might use up a little bit of battery, but the bonuses that gives you is super awesome. Hey Moto Doge, play rock music on YouTube.
Opening YouTube. Playing rock music.
How awesome is that? How awesome is that? Hands-free. You can be doing something else. You can be driving and then just ask your phone, "Hey man, play some music," right? Hey Moto Doge, talk to me.
Okay, will do.
As you can see, it just said that it will announce incoming calls and texts for 30 minutes. So you'll be driving, you don't have to actually touch your phone. You know, it allows for you to be concentrated in your driving, but you can actually, you know, tell it to tell you what calls and texts you receive. All right, so that is the UI of the Motorola Moto X 2nd Gen. It's a very stock Android experience with quite useful Motorola customizations, like that ambient display, like that Moto voice feature that gives you, you know, it lets me play music without actually touching my phone. That's the future right there. Now, I've used the Samsung S5, I've used the Samsung S6, I've even tried the LG G4, the Xperia Z3. None of them, and definitely not the S5, comes close to how smooth stock Android on the Moto X 2nd Gen is. Now, I just want to stress the fact that I've used higher quality cameras, I've used, you know, more expensive devices, you know, Quad HD, all that. Nothing compares to a good UI. The user interface is the most important thing in a phone because that's what you will be using day in, day out. And if it's slow, it's sluggish, makes me not want to use it. And that's why this is so far my 2015 favorite phone of the year. Alright, so before we talk about the performance aspects of this device, we're going to talk about the camera, because this guy has an excellent camera. And I'm surprised because early reviews of this from international sites, of course that was way back in 2014, the camera, they said, was inconsistent. They didn't like it so much. Now, to me, I'm getting some really good shots on this guy. I would put this camera around the 8.5 to 9 out of 10, in my opinion. Of course, there are dedicated camera phones that will probably beat it. Of course, the S5 will probably beat it as well. But as for a 16,899 peso device, this is really good. Now, the thing about the camera, though, is the interface is a little weird. It does take getting used to, because by default, it has this little focus thing that you can drag around, and anywhere you touch doesn't focus there, but it actually just takes a shot. Now, this actually makes taking pictures faster because it will automatically focus on that point, and then any touch you do will take a shot. But, you know, if you're used to, you know, touching that area to take a to focus on that, you can turn it off. Now, enables touch to focus on whatever. Here are the settings you have, and it's actually kind of intuitive, but a little bit harder to learn if you're used to some of the other camera apps out there. Now, this takes up to 4K video, which looks really good. I will show you that later. But also, it takes 1080p electronically stabilized video, which is kind of interesting because there's no way to turn off the electronic stabilization. Now, for you know, casual users, they will never notice the difference, and they'll just think that 1080p is just a very stable video. That's kind of a cool thing because, you know, sometimes you don't really need that option to turn off electronic stabilization. Just knowing that your phone can take good 1080p video and it's stable doesn't really matter if it's electronic stabilized or not, right? That's cool. 4K video, there's also slow-mo. I'll show you that later, or maybe embed it right now. But yeah, that's pretty good video actually. And of course, the 2 megapixel front camera is no slouch either. I would even put this better than some 5 megapixel or 8 megapixel front-facing cameras of some local brands. You know, it's not always about the megapixels. It's sometimes about the optics and the quality of your sensor. So yeah, it's a great camera. Both are great cameras. The dual LED flash on the circular, you know, ring flash, I don't know if it actually helps create, you know, better shots, but it does, you know, make the shadows a little bit less harsh. So I guess that's a win, right? Alright, so here we are playing a game called Modern Combat 5, one of the kind of graphically intensive games out there. This is running, of course, on the Motorola Moto X 2nd Gen. Look at that graphics right there. This is Motorola Moto X 2nd Gen with a Snapdragon 801 processor and 2 gigs of RAM. Now, 2 gigs of RAM is actually plenty for stock Android. There are other devices out there with, let me just, the volume is actually quite, you know, the speakers on this guy is actually quite good and quite loud. It's over on the right side here. It's not easy to cover, and yeah, it's actually very, very loud when you're playing games and you're playing music. You know, it'll definitely reach you even in a kind of long room, in a large room, playing music. Anyway, this is the gameplay of Modern Combat 5. As you can see, it's very, very smooth, and the resolution is at the highest. You know, Modern Combat 5, you know, sometimes scaled down when it's it knows that it's running on a, you know, lower CPU. This is not scaled down at all. It's running, you know, pretty much probably 60 frames per second here. No frame rate drops or anything. Running really nice here. And yeah, gaming performance on the Moto X 2nd Gen is definitely very, very good. By the way, the Antutu score of this guy is about 46,000 something something. If you want the exact value, it's on the unboxing. Alright guys, so here we are playing GTA San Andreas. If you remember correctly, if you watched the unboxing, I did play this San Andreas as well in the unboxing video. But as you can see, it's still very, very good. Oh my god, my ambulance is getting flipped over. And yeah, look at that frame rate. It's very, very smooth. I'm driving like a crazy maniac, and everybody's cursing at me. Let's run over some people. So yeah, the gameplay is still very, very smooth. The volume is very, very loud. Let me try and bring that down. Like I said before, the speakers are very, very good. You can actually listen from quite a ways away in a room to your music at least. And yeah, looking at this game, it's very, very smooth. Now, I did test this a little bit. I played this for a few hours straight on to test if it overheats. It doesn't actually overheat. It does warm up, but doesn't overheat. Now, that's really, really good, considering that the sides are metal. And, you know, that metal build devices are usually, you know, kind of notorious for having, you know, overheating problems. But this guy doesn't overheat. And as you can see, I've been multitasking the whole time. So that's a good example of what the performance is on the Motorola Moto X 2nd Gen. Alright, so that's a couple of games on the Moto X 2nd Gen, and it's actually still running in the background. Now, the thing is, you can't install many games at the same time on this guy because you only have 16 gigs of storage. Now, in the US or other countries, you can actually customize and get up to 64 gigs, but in the Philippines, we get the 16 gig version, and the 16 gig version has 10.3 gigabytes out of the box for the user to use. Now, most of it is my phone is filled up with, you know, video recordings from my camera, camera shots, and of course the apps and games on this phone. So, you know, it's not a lot. You know, 10.3 gigs is not a lot. Another thing that's limited is the battery. You know, it's 2300 milliamp hours. It's non-removable. Thankfully, though, it has quick charging, but I don't know if they will include the quick charger out of the box. The box has the 1050 milliamp hour charger. So yeah, this guy's battery life is not very long. You know, even if I got 5 hours and 8 minutes on the battery work test, which we use, you know, PC Mark on, it doesn't actually last that long. In real world conditions, if you maybe leave the house at 9 a.m., the battery will last you maybe up to 3 p.m., but not longer than that. You will definitely need to charge at least on your lunch break. This is one of the phones that you will need to always have a power bank with you. Alright guys, so I think that about wraps it up for the Motorola Moto X 2nd Gen review. And like I said before, this is my favorite phone of 2015. I'm actually going to give it a BTS Editor's Choice Award for being such an awesome phone. I really love this one. I can't put this down. I'm really sad that they're actually trying to get this from me already. Actually today. But seriously, I love this phone. Flagship design. Super duper smooth interface, no bloatware. I love that there's no bloatware. There's only 2 pages to scroll. The camera is really good. The Motorola features are excellent. You know, pros and cons. Beautiful design. You know, even flagship design. Solid build. Unbelievably smooth UI. Near instant Android updates. You know, zero bloatware. Those are all pros. Motorola UI is brilliant. You know, I've never had, you know, a phone that just knows what I need to do. I need to get my calls and texts read to me. I need to play my music without touching my phone. Exactly. The display is great. It's a 1080p AMOLED display, looking really nice, popping out there. Of course, the 2.5D Gorilla Glass helps as well. The speakers are loud, and the cameras are impressive. Those are all the pros. The cons, though, is the short battery life. You need more storage, or, you know, if you're a Spartan user like me, you don't install a lot of games, maybe you're just playing Clash of Clans, then you're fine. If you're looking to install 3 to 4 large games, then you're in trouble because the 16 gigs will not let you install a lot. And another con is it's not the newest model. This is a 2014 model. Motorola actually announced they have the new Moto X Style and the Moto X Play, which has much more awesome specs than this. Better battery. Of course, it's not yet out in the Philippines. Hopefully it comes out because that's going to be my dream phone. But right now, you know, it's not the newest model. And yeah, that's it. That's pretty much all the pros and cons. I'm not even going to put the con in the price, the 16,999 peso price. Because if you think about it, this is maybe the same specs as the Galaxy S5, which is, how much is the Galaxy S5 these days? 19,000, something like that. This is still cheaper than that. 16,999. So that's it for the Motorola Moto X 2nd Gen. Alex from technoclass.com here. BTS Editor's Choice Award Moto X 2nd Gen review is done. Thanks very much for watching. I'll see you guys next time.